Hey guys, welcome back to Home Theater Guru. So today we're going to be talking about near field subs, and this is actually a Q&A or a question asked in one of the comments of the recent videos that we've had. This one is from US Man Khalid, maybe 990. Hey HDG, thoughts on having a near field subwoofer? Do you think if we have just one subwoofer, that is a good way to go? Okay, so as far as near field subwoofers go, they can be a lot of fun, but one thing to think about is we've already had episodes on how to properly place subs. You know, we need more than one sub to have a consistent seat-to-seat response, where we have more than one seat that sounds good basically, and they all sound kind of similar. Now that takes some knowledge on how to place them, but it also takes knowledge on how to align them. We have videos and all that. And when I do room plans, I do all the work for you. I run a modal analysis on the room, place the subs for you, and then I have someone that I recommend that can remotely tune your subs if you're not ready for that. Of course, I have videos on how to do that as well. But if you place them properly, the alignment is super easy. If you have a symmetrical room, usually I can place everything to where it's kind of just everything falls into place naturally. So the whole idea that you can't place subs without, being in the room is complete nonsense. As long as the room has parallel walls and we can calculate the room modes, it's actually pretty dang easy and very, very predictable. So because the subwoofers need to be in specific places, when you say you had two subs and everything looked good, you had a really nice seat-to-seat response, if you throw a third sub in there just anywhere, you can add a sub and actually lose performance. You can mess up your seat-to-seat response. You could create nulls. Maybe you can't get that sub aligned to the other sub without causing issues. So it's not always a good thing. It doesn't mean it's not going to work right. I mean, you can definitely do it and see how it works. If you've got two subs at the quarter points, maybe you could put that one at the midpoint. And because you have a virtual sub at the front, that's going to be centered on the room because you're two at the quarter points. If you've seen episode, the one on room mode, you understand what I'm talking about. But in other words, it can work, but there's more to it than just throwing a sub in a room and expecting it to give better performance. Now, yeah, you're going to feel it, because you've got this driver pressurizing, basically the seat because it's right behind the seat, which again, that's a lot of fun, but it can cause problems. So the answer to that is yes and no. It can be possibly a good idea. Now, as far as having one subwoofer, yeah, if you only had one subwoofer and you really wanted some tactile, you want to feel it, and you weren't worried about it being localized, because you would have a problem with about it being localized if you put it directly behind you. But yeah, you can get good performance that way with the one sub, because you're basically sitting on the subwoofer. So if there's a null at your seat, you're going to be causing or creating that positive pressure right at that point. If we have a null at the quarter point, we can put a sub at the quarter point and fix the null. So basically, you can't expect to get a good response by having one near field sub right there, behind your seat, but it could be very localized. So it's definitely something you could try if you had one sub. As a matter of fact, at one time, I still haven't done it, but I was, made a few subwoofers like we did the hammer subwoofer. I was going to do a one for the bedroom. And of course, we had in the comment section some, goofy names we could call the subwoofer in the bedroom. So that was, had some pretty funny comments, but I was gonna put it directly under the bed, right, where you would be laying right above it. And so that was gonna do the same thing. Any nulls that were at that point would be fixed because the subwoofer is located right there where you're gonna be at. So yeah, it can be a good idea. It can work. Just understand adding near field subs to a system where you're looking, what you really want is multiple seats that have a good consistent response, and you've already placed your subs where they should be using modal analysis. Adding a third sub, or if you have four subs and you add a fifth near field, adding a sub just anywhere in the room to your group of subs that are already aligned and perfectly placed and working in harmony, that can be bad. It can be even a disaster, but it could be okay. It just depends on, you're gonna have to do some measurements, look at the response, look at how it's summing, and see if you can get it to align to the other subs, and then you're good to go. But that's another reason I personally prefer tactile transducers, because you don't have to worry about that. You get that tactile response, and you can even dial it in as much as you want, and you're not gonna hurt the sub response of your seat-to-seat response in your room that you work so hard to attain. All right, guys, so I hope that answered that. That's going to be it for this one. Don't forget to subscribe to the notification bell so you know the new videos come out. And I'll talk to you all for the next one.